Like, I swear, like, it's almost like my apartment becomes a fucking oven or something. Like, when it's hot outside, yeah, even after it cools down, the heat stays in here. I got fans all over the goddamn place because it's, I gotta cool down. It's fucking hot. That's why I'm not wearing any sleeves. Not, because I'm trying to show off the fucking guns or anything. When before I moved down here, I lived in North Dakota. It just hit me that like some people probably be like, "Fucking, why would you ever live there?" But shit. But basically, I was living up there. That's where I spent like my 20s. I used to go to this bar called Nola's Party. You would fucking drink, so you just rip roaring, and then when the bars closed at 1, you would go to someone's house and fucking drink and smoke some more. I mean, it was a lot of fun. It's not, maybe not for everybody, but for me, it was a lot of fun. But so like around maybe a year or so into making friends and partying with all kinds of people. I think it took almost a year for me to fucking open up, I guess, and come out of my shell. I haven't, throughout my entire life, I haven't had too many friends, and especially like close friends. In high school, I had some really good friends that I still talk to all the time on Facebook, actually. Occasionally through my 20s, I had a couple friends. I had a really awesome friend named Patrick. Through my job, I met one of my best friends ever, Jesse, up in North Dakota. Because like Jesse was sort of my gateway to meeting all the other people. He was the mutual friend. And I go to Nola's one night, and it's fucking popping, baby. It was one of those fun probably Friday nights where just everyone's there, everyone's just fucking mingling, having fun. That there's gonna be a fucking party afterwards. It's gonna be pretty good. I run into my friends, and I'm just kind of like doing the dab. What's up, baby? How you doing? How you living, my man? All that whole, whatever. So then I run into my friend Sluter. Now Sluter's house was usually the fucking party spot a lot of times. His house, actually, before Sluter moved to it, was the house of another friend named Brendan Mackey. But then he moved away, and then he came back. But then when he moved away, Sluter rented out this place. That has nothing to do with the story. It doesn't fucking matter. And I just said it, and now, we just gotta pretend like it didn't happen. Anyway, I run into Sluter, and Sluter was a fucking trip, man. He was like, he had the hemp jewelry, he wore like a brown trucker hat, kind of like a Josh Hartnett type of face, good looking dude, totally chill. I've actually seen him get a little nasty sometimes, a little violent, but sometimes you gotta represent, you know what I'm saying? Mackey, the dude, remember talking about Brandon Mackey? Nah, I've seen Mackey fucking go ham, dude. Mackey would fucking, I've seen like 4 dudes hold him back, and he is like, I think he was maybe slightly, I'm like 5'10", so maybe he's about 5'11", maybe close to 6 foot. And then he was fucking really, well, not really skinny, but he had like a great physique. He's a good looking dude. I would have, even though, if you want to experiment, that's the type of guy to experiment with. Mackey, he's the type of dude when in Fight Club, when Tyler Durden is like, skinny guys will fight till they're fucking hamburger. That's fucking Mackey. So anyway, Sluter. He fucking, I see him, every time I'd see him, man, Same exact thing. He'd had a fucking cigarette hanging out of his mouth, have the fucking drink in his hand. And, you know, just every time I'd see him, I'd be like, what's up, Sluter? He's like, Jose, what's up, man? You know, not much, you know, just fucking having fun. He's like, this particular night, he's like, Jose, man, hey, how come you never leave? You always leave without saying goodbye. How come you never say goodbye before you leave, man? And I'm like, he's harkening back to when I would constantly do the Irish goodbye when I was first hanging out with these people, because again, in my dumb, you know, fucking mind of self-doubt, I didn't think that these guys cared enough about me that they would even notice if I just left randomly. Because in the way I would do it is I would usually go, yeah, I'm gonna go have a cigarette, and I go to the back outside, you know, the Sluter's backyard, have a cigarette, and then just fucking leave. You know, Sluter, he's like, hey man, you don't have to do that, you know, you just anytime you need to crash, man, that's what the floor is there for, man. And I'm just like, oh, all right, well, thank you. I mean, I kind of figured, but you know, I mean, thank you, dude. I appreciate that. That's sweet. That's really nice of you. And so I remember consciously thinking that night, yeah, I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to take him up on that. Yeah, I remember putting that in the back of my head. I'm going to take him up on that. Because I'm pretty sure his place is going to be the spot tonight. And when I get there, I'm going to crash there. I'm not going to leave. After that, I walk in, or I run into my friend Mitch. Another one of my best friends from up there. You know, I'm like, what's up, dude? How you doing? He goes, Jose, hey, come with me, man. I have this friend that I want to introduce you to. You know, he's the guy I work with or something. It's like, this guy I work with, I want to introduce you to. So I'm like, okay, that's cool, man. I like meeting new people. Sure, this will be great. We go to the bar. There's a guy sitting at the end of the bar on a stool, and he's like, Mitch goes, hey, Jose, this is Al. This is Jose. And I'm like, Al, how are you, sir? My name's Jose. He's like, what's your name? And I'm like, Jose. He's like, oh, I'm Al. Call me Al. Allie. I'm Allie. Like, all right. And I'm, you know, shaking his hand, right? And I'm like, all right. Hey, nice to meet you, Al. Allie. I'm gonna need that handbag, dude. You know. And then he lets go of my hand, and I'm like, he's like, oh yeah, sorry about that. I was like, I thought I was just being some new friend, you know. And this guy, he's like, I noticed that he's kind of like really staring at me, or like looking into my eyes, like intensely. And he kind of has like this, like, yeah, like, and it's like, oh, he's looking at me like I was a steak or something. Like, you know, he wanted to eat me all up. Like, you know, yeah. This is not the twisted story. This is not like the ass kicker. Yeah, the guy, he wanted the J-Man. You know, he liked, you know, a young, attractive young man like myself at the time. He wanted some of that. He wanted a piece of that. He wanted, you know, he didn't want a piece. He wanted the whole fucking thing. Okay, that's yeah. And I at the time, I'm thinking like, well, you know, whatever. Maybe he's just drunk, or I don't know. He's just nice. But to kind of describe how he looked, he basically kind of, to me, looked like, so there's this guy here, Don Vito. It looks like he got buck fitted at one point. Where you from? Imagine like this guy, except like cleaner. He didn't have this giant fucking like chin turkey neck shit going on. His eyes were both straightforward, from what I remember. His hair was combed. Similar facial features, but again, like, a lot nicer looking. He's like Don Vito of Don Vito, like, actually had taken care of himself. But the wardrobe too was kind of similar. Like, he's kind of wearing like almost like fucking Harry from Dumb and Dumber, like members only jacket with, you know, a polo underneath. It really kind of seemed to me at the time, you know, that like maybe, you know, hey, the guy seems a little funny, but I don't know, if maybe I'm just imagining shit, whatever, who cares. So, you know, I'm just like, well, you know, peace, you know, Allie, Big Al, fucking, you gotta make the rounds, you know, fucking make appearances, you know, fucking try to get some of that trend. You know what I'm talking about, right? You know, the fucking bar closes, and, you know, again, Sluter's house is the spot. I mean, everyone was there. It's like anyone and everyone. So anyway, we fucking we go to the house. I'm about to swing past the living room, you know, because that's where most of the time that's where we all chilled. You know, pass around, you know, pipes, joints, fucking, you know, little baggies of funny mushrooms, fucking, maybe even you know, indulge in a. I mean, that's what was fucking crazy, man. We would get drunk at the bar more than likely. Like, not I mean, because there's the whole buzzed, but then there's like drunk, but like functional drunk. Like when you're definitely inebriated, but you're not like, I mean, I shouldn't be driving, but I probably still could. And then of course there's just straight up like just drunk, where you're just like, I'm not even. We would fucking get to the nice level of drunk. Some people would have to fucking go home early because they got too drunk. I've been there. I remember my friend Heidi. That was weird because like she went from fucking. It's almost like she went straight from that functional drunk that I was talking about to just straight up. She was like, and she'd have the like shit going on. I'm like, I think Heidi needs to go home. We were having a conversation, and now I'm talking to her, and she's just like, "What?" That's like, wow. You know, it was a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun. And then we would still fucking buy 12 packs, or like I remember one time Jacob, he bought a 24 pack. He's like, "You and I are gonna finish this." Oh God, I got so fucking hammered that night. That was one of the rare times that I had like a bad hangover, like where I was puking and headache the next day. That didn't happen a whole lot in my 20s. That's how much I was drinking. That like I showed up to work drunk quite a few times, and only one time like that was the thing is it wouldn't even be like I was hungover. I was still drunk from the night before. Like, maybe, like, a little bit of sleep, but then it's like, no, I'm still technically drunk. One time I did that, I was working with my boss. I was technically drunk while I was working with my boss. And I remember it was funny. I was working at Starbucks at the time. And it was the day of a friend's going away party. And the day before, I opened. And then the next day, or no, I don't think I opened. Maybe I worked the mid shift. But anyway, I decided I was gonna close the next night, but I took someone's opening shift, you know, like traded them, so that way I could fucking, you know, go to this person's going away party. And so the day before I had the opening shift, I get off of work and I'm like, I'll have a couple drinks before I go home. I am getting like pretty fucking drunk. I actually smoked a bit too. That was the night that man, there's just so many fucking things. I'm gonna go back to the regular story. Sluter's place for the after party. Remember, Allie. I go to the kitchen, about to turn around to the fucking living room. You know, like I said, where the action happens, and it's like I almost run into Allie. I swear, this motherfucker's eyes lit up like he just met fucking Diana Ross or something. I go, oh, hey, man. He's like, oh, hi. So I'm just like, hey, man, what's up? This is when I was kind of getting to the point where, like, yeah, if I was drinking and I introduced, like, pot into it, like, I would just take big hits, and then that's when it just got, like, pitch black. Like, I would wake up the next day and be like, I kind of don't remember a lot of last night. You know, like a lot of that kind of shit, the blacking out, that's when that started. I've jokingly told people, like, it's amazing I lived through my fucking 20s just on the fucking substance abuse alone. You know, it's crazy. Man, we had a lot of fun. I remember, you know, we're smoking and everything, you know, I don't remember pretty much anything between like smoking and like all of a sudden, like, I realize I'm talking to Allie. I'm having a conversation with her. And it's one of those things too, man, where it's like I'm so fucking stoned that like it's almost like everything outside of like me and Allie that we're talking is like a fucking blur, like of just it's a blur of just like a visual blur, but it's also like cacophony of just music, probably like Casey Jones played a million fucking times, or if it's not Casey Jones, it's just fucking endless like jam horseshit. Like I hung around these fucking hippies for so long. I learned to like folk music a little bit. I learned to like bluegrass. I love bluegrass specifically. I got a little bit more into the neo country and the country western shit, and just country music in general. For fucking hearing it so much up in North Dakota, like a lot of those type of musics, I don't really listen to a lot, but I love them and I enjoy them, and like they sound good to me. I never got like I recognize a lot of the R&B kind of elements and the funky parts of like Grateful Dead, but it's just something like even like the Doors. Like my friend Jesse, New Mexico, he loved the Doors. And the only song that I remember him playing for us that I liked was that fucking what the hell's it called now? It's the one that goes like but I mean a lot of that fucking shit I could not get into, and I'm not like a fucking I love all kinds of music like I just mentioned. I love hip hop, R&B a little bit. I'll listen to some metal and every now and again, not so much anymore, but I like it all, just like I just love music in general, but fucking I can only take a little bit of Grateful Dead. Me and Allie are just all of a sudden we're talking, and like as far as I'm concerned, no one's listening, paying attention. Everyone else is having their own version of whatever's going on. So just conversations and shit. So I don't know why I kind of remember that. I don't remember exactly what we were talking about. I think I was telling him sort of that like I wanted to make movies, but like he didn't really seem to want to talk about that because all I really remember, it's almost like seemingly out of nowhere, apropos of nothing. I just remember him saying to me, "I lived as a woman for 7 years." And it took me a second. I'm like, "You what?" It's like I was a woman. I lived as a woman, and I would dress in women's clothing. So I'm like, "You lived as a woman? Why are you telling me this?" Like whatever mental haze I was in at that point, I fucking got out of it quick because I'm like, wait a minute. Why are you telling me this? What's going on? Because I'm just like, I don't get it. Why you would? I don't care, and I think that's great. You obviously don't live. I don't. Why are you telling me this? Like, what the fuck is going on? What are we talking about? What did I just miss here? So, anyways, he pulls out a fucking like driver's license of him when he was living as a woman, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, whoa, okay. So it pretty much looked just like when he's told me I lived as a woman. This is how ignorant I really was at the time. I was expecting to see a picture of a fucking drag queen. Maybe like a long, beautiful wig, all kinds of like Marilyn Monroe makeup or something. Glamorous. It basically just looked like he looked at that moment just with red lipstick and eyeshadow. And glasses. He was wearing glasses too. In fact, I mentioned, what is it, Don Vito is, well, like a cleaned up Don Vito. I should stress that. But with the makeup on, he looked like this. He looked like Jan Schuyler. I was taken back by that because in my fucking ignorance, I'm like, I just assumed that like any people transitioning from one sex to another, or just gay men who wanted to dress like women. Maybe it's because of my. Well, I mean, a lot of it was probably my ignorance, but also like maybe the way that the media sort of portrays gay people. I just assumed, you would want to look beautiful, you would want to look like this, you want to look glamorous. But that's probably not someone's like main motivation when they're trans. It's not like, I just want to be able to wear pretty clothes, and then or I want to be able to look like this cool guy, or just like they just don't feel like they're in the right body, So I'm like, okay, interesting. You lived as a woman, all right. So again, what the fuck? What are we doing here? I'm also kind of like, I really don't want this guy to get the wrong idea. I don't know if maybe I said something that made him think that I was interested in him in a certain way, and so I tried to like switch up the conversation. I tried to change the subject slightly. So I told him like, "Oh, that's interesting." He's like, "Yeah, I love makeup, and I am really good at applying makeup." And so then that's interesting because I told you I wanted to be a filmmaker. That's one of the things that's important when it comes to filmmaking is the makeup. Because if you use people's natural complexion on camera and blah blah blah. So it's interesting. Because I've been trying to find people that have certain talents. Maybe they can help me in filmmaking and being a makeup artist. It's a great unique talent. It's almost like that wasn't gonna work because he goes, "Yeah, I just think you're a beautiful man." Like he's saying this to me. He goes, "I just think you're a beautiful man, and I would love girl to put makeup on you and just dress you up. I think you look gorgeous." And again, my whole thing is like this, I go, oh wow, all right, so thanks for the compliment. I'm not interested. Listen, and I'm basically telling him, I'm not interested in men. I don't know if you think that maybe I said something and I'm not into that kind of thing. I mean, if you are, that's great. I don't have any problem with you. I think you're a cool dude, but it's like, I just don't, I'm not gay. I'm straight. His response it seemed not only like he wasn't fucking listening to me, but it was just totally inappropriate because I swear to, this is not making this shit up. He goes, "Oh, well, I can be a bottom." Okay, oh, that'll make it better. First of all, let's get real here, dude. You would be the bottom regardless, no matter what, because there's no fucking way. I'm sorry. You can call that, and this is where I think sometimes too, I conflict with the attitudes of some gay people. Sometimes is that people don't want to admit that gay men can be toxic too, just like straight men. Sometimes that's manifested through raw sexuality and the unwillingness for not even just gay men but straight men very much so don't take rejection well. Well, to all men it hurts to take rejection. It's not fun, and that's not just a cis gender straight male thing. It's not. I even talked about it earlier this month when the Pride started that hell, there's even a lot of fucking racist white men in the Pride organization. That's why they had to add the fucking brown and the black stripe to that fucking flag, because it's they're acknowledging that not only is there a problem with racism and that they don't want to be associated with that. Yeah, brown and black can have those colors. This is for the white people over here though. And I know they've also added the whole trans thing. Why can't they just change it? Because from what I understand, I believe every color of the rainbow is supposed to stand for something. I always assumed that the rainbow motif was supposed to be, because it's was a sense of unity. I think most people assume that. No, maybe even young gay people assume that this is basically sending a message of tolerance, that people of all different kinds, no matter what color they are, no matter where they're from, religion, all that shit, being different but living together and celebrating your differences. At this point, I would say, hey, how about we reinterpret the flag's meaning and show, the cisgender world that we actually can prove how tolerant we are and how much we feel tolerance is important. The point I'm making here is Allie here was willing to be the bottom for the J-man. You can't turn me gay. I'm sorry, dude. I think he was still kind of offering compromises. I'm I'm going the fuck over here now. So I remember, yeah, I'm not crashing here tonight. The only other really thing I remember specifically from that night from being there, he basically continued to not necessarily make advances, but flat out just being I would totally just fuck you, bro. Oh my god, you're honey. I would just fuck you and this and that. And dude, you need to calm the fuck down, That would not be appropriate for me to say to a woman. You're not. It's not appropriate for you to say that to me. After I made it pretty fucking clear that I'm not interested. So, anyways, I don't really remember the rest of that night. I mean, I'm pretty sure I just like, fuck it, I'm going home. A couple days later, right after all that happened, I come back. I go to the bar again. I go to Noel's. I fucking show up and say what's up to everyone. Fucking New Mexico. He goes, oh hey Jose, man, fucking Big A Al's in the back. He was looking for you. And he just starts laughing. And I'm like, you fucking heard that whole conversation? Like, I'm referring to the conversation where he's just like, I used to be a woman. And I'm just like, yeah, man, everyone was just like trying so hard not to laugh. Like, I'm like, oh my god, dude. If there was a time where I could have just stepped outside of myself and seen what was going on, that would have been one of those fucking times. I guess it makes sense now. He was kind of yelling all that stuff. Do any of you have any stories about being gay bait? Oh man, alright, I'm done here.